Wysotsky is back with you for the second part of our discussion about the world of budgeting. In the first part, we broke down what the budgeting process actually is and found out that it's not really about planning, even though planning is part of the process. We covered why budgeting is necessary, when you should start thinking about launching it, and what real-life benefits it brings to a business. We're starting the second part of this series. Our quest for today is to get a handle on the types of budgets and the process of developing a budget for the next period. Imagine you have a treasure map. Last time, we figured out that we need the map, and today, we're learning to read the different marks on it. Where's the gold chest, the stash of supplies, the ship and its gear? And where might a privateer, a risk, be lurking? We'll break down what kinds of budgets exist and how to implement them in your company's life so that all of this works instead of getting in the way. Ready? Let's get started. Remember the golden rule, proven by years of practice: the more complex the system, the more ways it can break. Especially at the first launch. Especially at the start. Imagine you're learning to drive. You don't jump right behind the wheel of a Formula One race car, do you? First, you master the rules of the road, the steering wheel, and the pedals in a normal car. And only after you've clocked hundreds of hours and gotten real experience can you think about turbos, spoilers, and racing tires. It's the same with budgets. Start with the bare essentials. You can add the bells and whistles later, once the system is working. Simplicity is the key to a successful start. So, what budget should be in the initial starter kit? First, the operating budget, also known as the PNL, profit and loss. This is your financial roadmap for the period. Here, you document how much you plan to earn and where you intend to spend that money. But the cash flow budget is the real picture of your financial flows. Think of it as a weather radar that shows how financial cyclones and anticyclones are moving. It's like a bank statement with a weather forecast, only much more detailed. It will show how much money was planned and for what, how much actually came in and went out, and, realistically, who to hold accountable for it. And most importantly, you can see cash gaps here in advance, before they can happen. A cash gap is when incoming and outgoing cash flows, which might be roughly equal in size, don't align in time. If your company isn't just a shawarma stand, but something on a larger scale, though even that needs investment, if you're constantly building, buying new equipment, or expanding, then you can't get by without an investment budget. This is absolutely the right way to go when an organization is large and significant sums are spent on business development or re-equipping production. You need a separate technical policy for the company, a technical director who forms it and monitors compliance, and maybe even an entire investment committee. But with these budgets, you need to be careful. I'll tell you why right now. My favorite segment, a true story from the field. I was invited to a work meeting at a very large company whose ultimate beneficiary was a dollar billionaire. I don't remember the exact issue we were discussing. But in the middle of this serious conversation, the director of one of the factories just bursts out. He was at his breaking point. "I can't take it anymore. These procedures are killing me." For a lot of money, he had poached a brilliant designer from a competitor. This was an incredible stroke of luck. But this genius had been coming to work for 2 weeks and doing nothing. Why? The budget committee couldn't get its act together to approve the purchase of a computer for him. Can you imagine? 2 weeks of downtime for a top-tier specialist because of a missing formal piece of paper with an approval. This isn't just absurd, it's some kind of suicide. Formalization is great, but only if it doesn't turn into fanaticism. Rules should help a business fly, not clip its wings. Imagine if, for the sake of road safety, the maximum speed was limited to 20 kilometers per hour. We wouldn't get anywhere. It's the same with a budget. This is your tool, not your chains. My advice: when you're coming up with new rules, including for budgeting, turn on the what-if mode. Think about the craziest scenarios and, most importantly, talk to the people who will actually work under these rules. You know who will give you the most valuable ideas? The ones who resist the change the most. They, like no one else, will find every loophole and pitfall. Use their skepticism as a free audit. This is my personal life hack that I always use. Seriously. It's like getting a free team of beta testers who will find all the bugs before they become critical. And most importantly, they will later become your biggest champions for these changes. After all, they created and improved them themselves. If your company isn't just big, but really big, with financial gurus on board, then you can add the heavy artillery to your arsenal, the projected balance sheet. But this is, as they say, God-tier financial planning for those who really get finance, including the director. This is for those who don't just see the numbers, but feel them. Budgets don't just appear out of thin air like magic from Harry Potter. It's like building a giant Lego set. To get a big, cool castle, you first need small, perfectly fitted pieces. These pieces are our functional budgets, which specific departments and their managers are responsible for. And of course, for this set to come together, you need a clear instruction manual, your budgeting regulations. This isn't just a piece of paper, it's your internal code of business rules, which spells out who does what, when, why, and who they pass the result to. No, maybe you'll figure it out yourself, just clear rules of the game. It's like traffic laws, everyone knows them and follows them. Let's move on to the bricks of our budget. And the very first, most important one where it all begins is the sales budget. The pot of money everyone draws from. In fact, sometimes the initial version doesn't even have monetary figures, just the numbers of goods sold in units, kilograms, meters, or other units. Interesting, right? The composition and structure of the sales budget depend heavily on the specifics of your business. Furthermore, the length of the production cycle is critical. And it doesn't always align with the budgeting period. The structure of the sales budget is like your business's DNA. It's unique. At the same time, the production cycle is hugely important. Imagine you produce broiler chickens. From a chick to a market-ready chicken, it takes 40 to 52 days. If you are planning sales for this month, you already know exactly how much meat will be for sale, and you can't influence it at all. This is planning based on production. But if you just buy and resell, like a distribution company, you are driven by sales. First, you think about how much to sell, then you buy. Feel the difference? Often, the budget is first filled out in units, tons, liters, the quantity of items, and only then is it converted into money. This is because, during the budget process, the sales department is essentially signing a hypothetical contract with the CEO. We will sell this much at these prices, and it's important for the CEO to understand how realistic and effective this is, and how much of a stretch this plan is. Selling 1 million units at a rock-bottom price is one thing, but selling them at a high price is something else entirely. So in the final version, we account for both quantity and price. And here we come to one of the hottest topics. Nomenclature. Every salesperson dreams of a supermarket where every product is always available to sell. But I only recall candies with every flavor from Mrs. Flume and Hogsmeade, where the Hogwarts students love to go. Reality is harsh. Production isn't elastic. Raw materials are ordered in advance, sometimes a couple of months ahead. And if you produce too much, or the wrong thing, the product will just sit in the warehouse, tying up your money. And that is, effectively, a loss. Imagine you produce ball bearings and roller bearings. They're made on different equipment. Therefore, you'll have to sell them in a specific proportion so you don't have to shut down entire production lines. Or even better, we sell broiler chickens. A chicken has 2 wings and 2 legs. Therefore, you can't just sell the chicken breast. The entire volume must be sold in proportions rigidly set by nature. This is the eternal conflict. Salespeople want everything, right now, and production only provides what it can. This is the natural antagonism in the sales budget. You have to agree, the task of creating a sales budget is much more complex and interesting than what the uninitiated think, just filling out a spreadsheet. This isn't just Excel. This is a strategic battle more intense than many video games. Next, the production budget. This is the plan for what and how much you are going to produce. Again, first in units and types of goods. This is one of the most mind-bending budgets. Especially if your production isn't just repackaging sugar from sacks into bags, but manufacturing a tractor or a railway car. And if the production cycle is longer than your planning period, that's a challenge-level task. The product consists of separate assemblies. Each assembly must be manufactured by the time of final assembly, and the start of manufacturing for each assembly must be planned so it can be assembled on time. And that assembly is also made of individual parts, and the materials for those must be ordered even earlier. This is where you get into network diagrams. And disruptions in the production of individual assemblies can affect the entire production cycle and cause a domino effect. And here it is, the procurement budget. This is that potential black hole where your money can disappear if you don't watch it. The CEO must keep this under a microscope like a real Sherlock Holmes because, as years of experience show, where there is money, there is always the temptation to skim a little off the top. I personally witnessed this. In a company that had a super secure tender system with all the price checks and calculations, one bright mind figured out how to take bribes just for access to participate in the tender. There's a hole in your budget for you. Therefore, be sure to attach extra watchdogs to the procurement budget, market price checks, secret shoppers, tenders, public procurement, anything. The very existence of such procedures, even if they aren't perfect, already works like a dummy security camera in a store. It significantly reduces abuse. Practice proven. And, of course, the marketing budget. This is the most mysterious beast in the budget world. Why? Because it's extremely difficult to check its effectiveness. As John Wanamaker said, half the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The trouble is, I don't know which half. So, when this budget lands on your desk, ask the most uncomfortable questions. And how will we know this worked? What will the result be? How will we measure it? If your marketer doesn't dodge these questions but instead proposes metrics themselves, if he thinks in terms of measuring the unmeasurable, then he isn't just a marketer, he's a diamond. Treasure them. Your company will gain a colossal advantage in the market because of it and, believe me, much less money will be wasted. And finally, the investment budget. This isn't just a list of where we're dumping money on new equipment or modernization. The main thing here is our development strategy. And it's better when this budget is overseen by a sharp specialist at the level of a technical director. The sums there are usually hefty, and this requires thoughtful and responsible actions. Here's the catch. Before you approve this budget, you must be sure you have the money for it. From where? From profit, from working capital, from loans. Therefore, you need to know exactly what the P&L and the cash flow budget are showing. It's like checking your card balance before a purchase, right? We must answer. Will we have enough resources? Will we suck our working capital dry? Will we be able to get a loan? When will it pay off? What's the payoff? And one more thing, even the investment budget must have flexibility. Buying a laptop for a new employee or a simple measuring device shouldn't turn into an epic quest. Budgeting, it's a friend and assistant, not a bureaucratic monster. But there's another side to the coin, those same laptops. An HR employee needs one configuration, finance needs another, and IT specialists need a third. A ton of models, a ton of prices, and this is where centralization comes to the rescue. If you dump all these purchases on the IT director, he can optimize costs, find the best deal, and standardize the equipment to make it easier to service. This saves a ton of money. We've gone over the main budgets, but I'll remind you, this list is by no means exhaustive. The overall structure, the budget preparation procedures, the number of functional budgets, and the final list of consolidated budgets are all determined by the logic of your specific business. This part of our budgeting cycle showed what the budget preparation process looks like. It's not about piling numbers into columns, it's your assistant and controller in one. Now you know exactly what kinds of budgets exist, why they are needed, and how to start the engine correctly. Although we've only just scratched the surface of the budgeting iceberg, it's already clear that this isn't about boring spreadsheets, but a useful tool, if, of course, you use it correctly. In the next part, we'll answer the main question, how to launch budgeting step by step, who the main players in our budget drama are, and how to monitor the execution of the budgets we've dreamed up. This will be the hottest part, don't miss it. For now, write in the comments what budget adventures you've already had, what got in the way, or what helped in preparing budgets. I'll be sure to read and answer the most interesting questions. Your questions are the source of topics for future videos. If this video lit a spark in you to become a financier or a future corporation owner, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next part. See you soon, and may your financial adventures be only successful.